Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Live afternoon edition. I don't know what that was, but Tracy, how you doing?
How you doing? Had to do that for Shab.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm
Oh,
doing I'm doing pretty good, but crude oil went a little crazy today. We had a huge spike. What's going on with crude oil?
oh. We had we actually had a decent inventory, bullish inventory, but then what came out afterwards was Reuters had an article that basically said Saudi Arabia is ready for a price war, and they are no longer want to prop up the oil markets, according to sources. They didn't really say. It actually said, according to industry experts, the kingdom is unwilling to prop up the oil market with further supply cuts and can handle a prolonged period with low prices. And so the market puked. And then we had that very, very strange looking 5 minute candle on, I have no idea what, at around 205. Um, But so that was the giant puke in the market. And so let's find out if this was a trial balloon or not run by Saudi Arabia, or if this happens to be a false report from this particular news agency, which is not on good footing with the OPEC nations right now.
Terrific. Possible fake news in the crude oil market. Well, let's take a look at the charts. We have a daily chart right now, and you can see pretty big sell-off here. We had a little bit of support for about 10 days or so, right around that 61.30 mark where my lower rectangle is. We broke through it pretty nicely here. We're in a 58 handle right now, which is shocking me, to be honest with you. But we do have a target wick all the way down here at 55.16. So looking a little, and look at the stochastics just crossed under, pointing down. So it is looking a little bearish right now on the intraday chart. And I'm going to try, if I try to change this to a 5 minute, it might freak out my chart, Tracy. So I'm going to leave it at a 30-minute candle here and just kind of take a peek at what happened here. This is the candle I was referring to. This was, wow. Okay. So this was at
Yep,
11:30
look
to
at the
12
one
candle.
that, right, and
Which one?
then look at the odd candle at around 205. Well, yeah, 205.
Right there. Yeah, so I'm going to change it to a 5 minute. Why not? We'll just do this on the fly here. Hopefully, nothing. I don't break anything.
Do it on, there you go. See it?
Oh yeah.
So
So
that was the
this guy
market
right
puke on
here.
the Saudi news. And then, yep,
Yeah. So
I
I
don't know
mean,
what that was.
wild times in the crude oil market. By the way, make sure you always have your stops in so you don't, be careful with these markets. But from an intraday point of view, at this point, we're south of that 1 day min at that Menthor Q level. That didn't play a factor today. S1 didn't. Jax 3 didn't. Jax 5, Jax 2, everything we just kind of just fell out of bed, blew through it, and now we're just kind of making new ground at the bottom. We do have a nice kind of volume profile point of control that's finally established itself. We didn't have any volume at all that traded down here in the morning or in the overnight session. It all happened at lunchtime and going forward here. And we picked up this point of control when we had a lot of meat on the bone a little bit higher in overnight trading. So this is looking a little bit on the negative side for sure. Um, let's kind of move over to gold though,
Absolutely.
because yeah, let's move over to gold because gold is also doing mystifying things in my consolidation range. What's going on in gold?
So for the gold market, um, yes, the traders or that market took that poor GDP number, and the market factored in 4 rate cuts for this year, which is a positive for gold. And so what looked like it was going to kind of fall out of bed there this morning, it kind of has pared back some of those losses on that GDP print.
So Tracy, I just kind of glanced at both of the reports, the GDP and the personal income and outlays PCE, and it seemed like they were two different ballparks. Like the month over month PCE was like I think 0%, and whereas the GDP component was way out of whack. Is that unusual, or am I reading it wrong?
So yeah, I think no, I think it is unusual. I think the data, I think the data is very distorted right now, to be honest with you, because of all the uncertainty, and the data is not really giving us, I mean, much to go by. If you go by the GDP number, it didn't look good. Trump, of course, came out and said, well, it was Q1 GDP. It had nothing to do with me. It was all Biden. Um, but, you know, take that for what you will on that one, I guess. But I think we have been seeing a slowing of the economy, and some argue even that we're in a recession right now. Generally, you don't know if you're really in a recession till it's almost over. So that's kind of where we're at with the data right now. But of course, the markets are looking at any opportunity to get a cut out of the Fed, and so we priced in. We were at like 3.5 this morning after that GDP number. We were at 4.
Oh boy, good times. Well, technically speaking, gold's still in this, it's saved itself. It's still in this consolidation level where where support starts around pretty close to that 3,300 level, just a little bit short on my chart, 3,395, and then resistance up at the top here, forming. This is going to be a nice sandwich if it keeps up. 3371 at the top. We'll just drag it over to kind of prove my point that 8 EMA is right through the middle of every single candle so far for the last 6 sessions. So consolidation is happening on gold. And even like there's no really crosses going on in the stochastics. They're kind of sloping down, but they're not, they're pinching together slowly, but nothing decisive there in terms of cross unders or crossovers. On the actual intraday chart, we had all sorts of lines today, and gold has been really, really busy. We saw that, big sell-off and then that big rally bouncing around. The story really is support. S2 really held nicely as support. Folks, if you don't have the daily pivots, put them on your chart, on your intraday charts. 3281 really formed a nice area down there. And then on the upside here, if I had to draw a rectangle, which I should have done already, I'll do it really quickly here. We have a really nice area of resistance up here, right at that Jax 4 level. That's at 3320. And then the VWAP right now, we're just kind of walking along that session VWAP right now with not a lot of velocity at this point in the day. So that's kind of the story in crude oil, but we have some other metals too that we're moving, right? I think copper was another big one we want to take a peek at.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit this morning. What we saw were Chinese investors were unwinding their arbitrage positions from New York, London, and Shanghai because they are heading in. It's the last trading day before they are heading into a 5-day Labor Day holiday. And it looks like that was mostly it. I mean, we kind of stabilized there after, metals open at 7:30, and so kind of had an hour of some selling in the U.S. session, and then kind of gained its footing again, and ticking up a little bit in the U.S. session.
Yeah, I mean, we gave back we had a nice orderly rally going on in copper, really since the 14th of April. So it's been a while. It's really kind of nice and orderly. We plateaued. Today, though, we gave a lot of it back, right? We gave at least, I don't know, all the way back until we'll say the 15th. We gave all that back right now in just one foul swoop. The 8 EMAs sloping down here, challenging the 21 and the 50 at the same time. And we're pretty far down on the retracement as well. We do have a cross under on the stochastics. So if there's continuation selling the next day, I expect that cross to get a little bit more pronounced, and maybe there'll be another a move. But we do have a nice area of support, which from yesteryear that I have. We just about got to it. 4.51. You could round that up if you want. Intraday chart really quickly here. A lot of lines again, but nice orderly sell-off until it stopped. and that kind of stopped during the initial balance in the U.S. session right now. Really nice point of control. Small case B as in boy, volume profile distribution right now. Looks like probably this is where we're going to stay for the rest of the day, just south of that VWAP as well. So that's the story of copper. And I wanted to ask you about platinum too, because I saw some movement in platinum.
Yeah, we had some big moves in platinum. It hit. Looking at the daily chart, we hit. This is more of a technical thing than anything else, but we hit that $1,000. We generally that area likes to pull back, so that wasn't surprising. But we did have a lot of movement today. In the overnight, we had a nice little puke, and then it's kind of been kind of a choppy, sloppy session in the U.S.
Yeah, looking at the daily chart, all the moving averages are just kind of really tight together and kind of going in the same direction horizontally. So we'll see if something breaks one or the other on those moving averages. I changed my retracement from high to low to high. I use that low target wick. Some people don't like to use these low wicks. I do, and I brought it up to the high a couple days ago. We're at 23.6%. No major retracement here, resting nicely on a trend line. The stochastics are touching. We're not there yet. We didn't cross under yet, so no, don't celebrate just yet. But they are touching. We'll see what that looks like tomorrow. And then an intraday chart too. Kind of nice trading, decent point of control. Not quite as prominent a B-shaped distribution as it was in the last marketplace, but we're right there trading at that point of control. We have achieved price happiness in the platinum market, at least for this minute in time, Tracy. So that's it. Those are the charts. That's what I'm seeing.
All right. Well, there we go. Got a lot of movers in the commodities market. So if you're not trading these guys, take a look.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Tracy, thanks. That's our a hot commodity segment. We're going to move on to trading the close with our friends from OrderFlow Labs. Joining us today is Nick Furtick and XYZ. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Jim.
What's
How's it
up,
going?
Jim?
All right, man. It's good to see you guys. I know, Nick, you have a little bit of a weather alert going on maybe over there in northern Texas.
Yeah, North Texas is getting hit pretty hard with some thunderstorms currently. So if for some reason you just see me disappear this afternoon, you will be in the more than capable hands of Mr. XYZ to trade the close. So hopefully no issues. My power's flickered on and off a few times this afternoon. So we'll see. It looks like it's going to be raining the rest of the evening too here. So we'll see how it passes, but hopefully we can get through this next hour plus without any issues.
All right. Well, be safe, Nick, whatever happens. XYZ, if you need me, holler. Looks like someone's got a trade going on already. Whose screen am I looking at?
That's mine. We're looking for eagle noises. We're
Are
looking
you
for them.
trying to ride
We're
this
long.
to a new high of day, sir?
Ideally, I've got 5 on, so we can scale out as things happen. So
I mean,
all
end
right.
of
Well,
month, end
you
of month
guys,
close.
I'm going to go ahead and back out, you guys. Have a great session. I'll be taking notes.
see you, Jim.
Yeah, with end of month and Microsoft and Meta on deck, I mean, I could very much see this continuing. It's been a weird session. Did you
Yeah.
you said you didn't really trade much this
I
session, did you?
Yeah, my day was quick. So I'm gonna speak in Pacific time because that's all I know. But I started 7:30, probably ended maybe like a little before 8. It was whenever we finally broke VWAP to the upside. Um,
Hmm.
Pretty much closed out my longs above that, and then I've been gone from desk until probably about 40 minutes ago. So catching up, seeing that we broke higher, and well, right now I'm seeing that we are pulling back. We're holding, so we've pretty much balanced up higher above VWAP, and then we're holding. There was a pretty strong rebid, and then whatever this candle was, assuming some tariff announcement or something like that. And then on the way back, it's a really strong sell. But I'm noticing the tape is turning. So trying to see if we can get long off of this sweep lower, like in an inability to find any initiative selling lower, which so far is what we're seeing. Sell volume kind of tapered as soon as they tapped into prior distribution here
Hmm.
um, in the 40s. So we are long, seeing what happens. Stop is pretty tight. It's looking like 12 points, 12, 13 points here. If it works, super nice. If not, no harm, no foul. That's what your stop loss is for. Yeah, so we're seeing if they can continue to hold higher. If not, then we could be looking at some reversion. If they start to accept this node here, um, they can find their way back down to VWAP again. So we'll see. Hopefully this is the hold, and we'll get some eagle noises out of this.
I do love the eagle noises. Yeah, I'm very curious to see this close. I was very light today. I did some personal things this morning. Took a doctor's appointment for my shoulder and a few other things going on. So I didn't trade much this AM and was kind of just dumbfounded by just that crazy V right off, I guess, the initial balance period, and then just moving up on
Right.
the gosh, you can hear if I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder coming through my microphone as well in the background, but that just shook the whole dang house. So that's always fun. But yeah, I didn't do a whole lot. I'm kind of glad because I probably would have tried to reoffer this somewhere around 55.20s on ES. Maybe a little higher than that, but and probably would have just gotten ran over. Felt like, I clearly misread this reversal off the IB period. So yeah, pretty light day for me, but I'm very curious to see how we close here. As we were saying, we have Microsoft and Meta on deck. It is the last day of the month. So, I mean, I've sat and watched these kind of power hours the last day, and sometimes they can get a little nutty to the upside. We'll see if they have the juice for it today.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully I'm out of this long before then. Just scaled out one, trying to see if we can get to these 96s for the second one, and then from there, I hope they can just really rip this thing. But it's looking okay. We did
Hmm.
end up locking out that aggressive sell down there, so that's a good sign. We're seeing initiative buying coming in. They're lifting some tape here. If anyone's watching the DOM, even just the deltas, you can really see them lifting that offer. So they've got a bit of gas from what happened down there, that failed sweep, stop run, whatever you might want to call it. See if I can get filled. I'm filled there. So for now, I mean, based on my entry, I think I'll just leave it for now. But yeah, if it comes back to, oh yeah, I want five of these or four of them now. I'm going for the quadruple eagle. But yeah, we'll look to scale. Let me
Yeah, I'd be
see.
very curious if we do sweep the high of the day, and which would basically be last week's high as well. There seems to be somebody just continuing to kind of reoffer in that 600 to 620 spot. So
Right.
same thing. I just want to see what happens. I was telling you when we were in the green room, I yesterday before the close, I opened a small like starter swing short at the top of this balance, and it just something just kind of irked me a little bit. And then to my surprise, seeing the move off the open felt good. And then naturally it gets reversed, and I basically flattened that trade as we were coming on the air now. A little more than break even. So kind of a frustrating one. But at that point, after we bounced off that low, and now with just all these potential, I think, catalysts that can send us to the upside here towards the end of the day, I think it's just like, hey, I had an idea. It did work. I could have probably covered a portion of it and been very happy. But now I just kind of want to reevaluate and not be swinging short after the reaction that we had today.
Yeah, it's really hard to trust the market. Like
Yeah.
even right now it's giving me a pretty decent move from entry, but it's hard to really trust it. I'm looking to peel off my third already, right?
Yeah.
I've since what, like 2 weeks ago, ever since the range kind of consolidated again, I've definitely been scalping
Mm-hmm.
more, kind of like what you guys see on stream on the NT live sessions, and I'm planning to stick to it. Yeah, I got trust issues with the market right now because you never know. And I'm happy just taking the profits. You guys can see that I run the tight stops so that even when I'm scalping, the risk reward makes sense on a sustainability standpoint, right? Um, looking to maybe there's a few imbalances being left on this run up, so I might try to cover the fourth. I don't want to really sit through a pullback, and then I'll just hold one. But yeah, um, I think my quality of life has been very good just scalping.
Yep.
I don't think I've had a session longer than 30 minutes since. And it just keeps me consistent. Like I always say, it's something that's more easily repeatable for me.
Yep.
And it just makes things easier. Yeah, you can certainly sit here and I mean I'm not even close to maybe being the best trader or whatever, but there's plenty of traders that can really extract these moves. For me, it's harder to maintain a consistent process trying to do so. I'm just gonna get my piece of the pie, do it in a consistent way, and then just go from there. So a lot of people hate the market right now. Um, I don't because I hate wide stops. So I really enjoyed the volatility because the R was consistent, right? You'd need like say a 20, 25 point stop, but you're gonna get instant 80 points. Oh yeah. And we're going for one more.
I
But yeah,
think
like
I think this is gonna go.
if the market's giving good R, I'm all for it. Right now, it really is. Even though the range is consolidated, I can run like a 10-point stop and grab, X amount, as long as that's okay. If it's a really narrow chop and it's super choppy, I can't do anything with it. And if it's on NT Live, you're going to see me doing a bunch of nothing and hoping that the market does this or that before I can do anything, which is kind of like yesterday. We were waiting for what, those 616s. I knew we were going to get that high poke again, but I just couldn't get on with it. And the market luckily granted it. For all of us in the chat, I think a lot of people took it. It was a great trade. But yeah, that's just been my thing. I'm with you on it where you can't trust this market,
No.
right? It's really hard to.
It really, really has been. I think in some way, like I have a very similar, I guess, trade timeline that you kind of operate in, where I'm not really trying to spend hours and hours in a trade or staring at screens. So I guess I've had my most success when I am kind of just being scalpy, getting in and out, calling it a session, coming back later, seeing if there's an opportunity. If not, no big deal. And then I get into trouble. I think when I try to do a little too much or hold trades a little too long or going for too much
Mhm.
reward when I guess I made my full-time trading career being a guy that can scalp NQ for 20 or 30 points with a couple minis and being very, very happy about that and calling it a session. You catch one of those, that's a pretty good day. That keeps the 9 to 5 away. Keeps
Mhm.
the 9 to 5 away. So yeah, I've just had trouble with this market the last, like, I would say maybe 10 trading sessions. It's been very, very up and down.
Mhm. Kind of like the market, right?
Exactly.
It's yeah, it's so hard to predict what's going to happen in the next hour as opposed to kind of like our time frame with, the OFL gang. We're the best when we're trying to predict the next like 5 to 10 minutes, right?
Hmm.
And it's a lot easier to extract that order flow information and be able to apply it because, everything changes, right? You might get a participant that comes in 15 minutes from now that wasn't there prior, or these days you might get a tweet. Um, yeah, so for us, our edge using order flow grants us a great degree of likelihood for our trades in more short-term time frames. Um, and I think you guys might notice on our streams, at least, it might seem like we're firing off at the hip. We're in this trade, we're in that trade. We're flat, but then we're long again, and then we're flat, and then we're long again. It's because of the nature of order flow. When things happen and when things come in, when the context is built, you can kind of see the momentum, and it's a lot easier to extract from that couple minutes. Because order flow can change. This news can drop and you can see the tape completely flip. Right now, for this long, I started gradually seeing the tape start to flip. but price wasn't pulling up just yet. And finally, it's a simple concept of, let's just say, when the market stops moving up, you would stop buying, right? When the market stops moving down, you would stop selling. Or you can say you sell when the market stops moving up, or you buy when the market stops moving down. So when you put it in that kind of vacuum, now all we're doing is tying the order flow in. So as the market's moving down, I'm noticing the tape is starting to change, but I'm waiting for the market to stop moving down, right? So as the tape, is showing selling, 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 there's buying now, but it's going lower, it's going lower. Now I'm waiting for it to stop going lower. So as the tape starts to shift, it's harder for them to go lower. The selling starts to taper off, and then they start to inch the other way, and that's when I try to get on sides. Now, how do I know if this is not just a pullback, right? To get long, it's going to pull back to the a retest of, just 20 points higher and slam. I have no idea. But I know to a decent degree of probability, we're going to get that up move now, and then you scale out as it goes. You look at the order flow. Does it start to turn again? Does it start to this? Does it start to that? Um, And that's kind of how I kind of stay in my zone, right? The longer I hold stuff, my mental capital, like I always say, it's just depleting. And when mental capital is depleting, your quality of life is going down. So I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it light. I don't want my trading days to feel like work days. You're going to see a lot of guys literally trading like 8 hours a day. They're on from open to close, trying to execute, whether it's because they're streamers or they've got some P&Ls they want to showcase on Twitter. Um, but yeah, there's multiple reasons. I like it simple. I like it easy because it's easy to replicate day in and day out. And when you're a scalper, you can attach it to any market. So that's when you're trading order flow, it becomes a lot easier to scalp. And all of that noise would introduce some difficulty in holding a trade, right? You'll see guys like that just use price. It's just candles, and they can hold these things. They're not even scaling out, and they can hold it, right? For me, I think scaling is a maybe it's a coping mechanism, right? If I was in 5 lots, there's no way. How would I feel holding through this pullback? I'd feel horrible, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's what works for me. Everyone's got a personality, and they need to find a system that matches it, or else it just won't work. Bertram, yeah. Yeah, sometimes I go on rants, right? So it is what it is. That's my TED Talk. Thank you guys for coming.
No, there's really something to that though. When you do this, I guess full time like we all kind of do, the shorter days, I don't know, I just feel better like when I'm not sitting here staring at charts, being stuck at the desk. It's like the autonomy that in a weird way this career path can kind of give you if you do take advantage of that is kind of insane. Like you could have a morning like I did where, yeah, I'm not staring at charts, I'm not taking trades, but I'm able to get a bunch of things done and not have to like then rush back to an office to do my normal 9 to 5. So and you don't have to trade every day. I've been very, very light the last week. And part of that is just me trying to reset myself a little bit, but also just because I don't feel like the need that I always have to press a button or if I'm at my desk, I always have to be in a trade 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's something we'll all struggle with,
Yeah.
especially if
Especially
you're
when the
like a
market's moving.
career trader. Um, you kind of always get this feeling like, hey, it's like showing up to work. I'm here at this desk. I should be generating alpha. If otherwise, what am I even doing here? Like, I'm not doing my job. But that's kind
Hmm.
of like the dichotomy of the market, right? You don't get paid for your time in this game. You get paid to act on your opportunity. So we all have a system, we all have a strategy. You're gonna see other people like maybe you missed a trade or you didn't take this, and then some guys like, yeah, I just banked off of this move, but it's not really what you do. It shouldn't be one of those things where, okay, now I gotta add that to the toolbox, add this. You don't see, so a lot of people will say trading's like a business, um, obvious reasons. And so I would always tell people like, okay, would it make sense for Nike to look at Apple and be like, they are killing it selling phones. It's time to get into phones. Or you look at Apple, they're like, Nike's killing it with the shoes. It's time to make Apple shoes. That doesn't happen. Everyone sticks to their thing that they're
Yep.
good at. That's your business. So if a setup is there, a strategy, the setup is presenting itself according to your strategy that you know has edge. It's your job to take it. It's also your job not to do anything outside of it that isn't a part of your edge, right? That would be like Nike trying to get into phones, whereas they can just stick to their edge and they are doing just fine. I don't know if Nike's doing just fine. Okay, I don't own Nike stock, by the way. You get the point. Don't
But
come at me if Nike stock is tanking and all that stuff.
don't
But
give Tim
you
Cook
get the
more
point.
ideas of random products to add because we saw him try with the $3,000 snorkel, and now we've never heard from that thing again.
I totally forgot about that. And
Exactly.
that's what's going to
Everybody
happen if you
forgot
try
about it.
different stuff, do all kinds of 360 no scope strategies. And, if a trading strategy that some guy's trying to sell you a Substack or course on or a YouTube video requires you to do all of this 360 no scope A5 Wagyu combo analysis, I promise you it's not good. The best trades, they're in front of you. They're screaming at you. They're easy. The best levels, especially. There's so many people selling levels or something. You can just look at a blank chart and the market is going to tell you what it
Mhm.
thinks is support or resistance or
Highs
this
and
or
lows
that.
of candles. It
Yeah, literally.
doesn't have to be much more crazy than that sometimes. That's why it's
Yeah, you
like
don't
the
you need all
MGI
of
on
the
our
stuff.
charts. It's that's literally the same thing of just looking at tops and bottoms of candles at the end of the day for different time frames.
Right. If anyone's convoluting a way to find levels, they are doing it to sell you something, I promise you. The way we do it with OrderFlow, it's quite simple, right? It's a mixture of price action, which is obviously the obvious parts in the market, because those are where everyone's looking to interact one way or another. And we're looking at, the effort, the order flow that's coming in, who's getting rewarded, who's not, who's trapped, right? One example is clearly this one. They swept below this range that they held pretty strongly prior. They put in a bunch of sell and the sell got set off sides. Hey, look, I don't think they're going to get continuation here off because they put in some effort and we're trading above. So this is it. It works or it doesn't. Risk reward, we'll take it from there. There's no rhyme or reason, this, that, fancy wording, whatever. It's just the market is going to give you the information. And when it's obvious is when it's a good trade. When it's not, and you've got to spend like 6 minutes to try to decipher if this is a trade, it might work. Everything works. You know, uh, good trades fail, bad trades win. But that's not your business. It's not the product you're selling, right? So stay out of it. It's easy to make the money. It's very hard to keep it. Um, Yeah, that's my TED Talk part two. There's a lot going on in the chat right now. I'm
I
sorry,
will
I haven't
short
been
if
looking at
Nick's
chat.
power goes out. Take it as a sign. It may be a good idea or a terrible idea. There's been a few times in my I guess the last week or two where when I've left the desk, it seems to be the best trading opportunities of the day. So there's been some jokes and a Discord that I'm in with some friends where it's like if somebody leaves, like when certain people leave their desk, leave their office, it's like the volatility is about to start.
Yeah.
And I am unfortunately, one of those indicators. When I'm not at my desk, it tends to be a better trading opportunity for my trading friends.
Yeah, the black van parked outside Nick's house.
Yeah.
I'm
You think it's a
suspicious of
thunderstorm.
that.
You think it's a power outage, but somebody cut my power. They probably
They
did.
they wanted volatility. We got to cut his power.
Hmm. I'm a good boy.
What platform do
Need,
I
need
use for
to
entry?
replay that one eventually, so my wife knows that too. Yeah.
They might clip your sound right now. I'm a good boy.
The
I
sound
I
bites.
got trust issues with this production crew right now too.
Well, they got us all. I will say that though. They have significantly spread the love of people being soundbited and us replaying that throughout the show. It's great. No
Your
one
body couldn't
uh,
call it
take it. No one
love.
is safe.
All right, I'm gonna go through some questions. What platform do you use for entry? This is NinjaTrader. Quite literally, this is NinjaTrader. I am entering on NinjaTrader. Um,
Can I log out? My God, guys.
let's see. Does XYZ teach anywhere? Not formally. I'm in the OFL Discord. I do streams twice a week. There's a lot of people, names that I've noticed in this chat that have recently signed up and they've been to a few of my sessions. So um they might chime in. But I don't formally teach. I don't like have a Discord or a course. I go around and I rant. Honestly, guys, I swear. I rant about things that I wish somebody told me when I started. That's literally what it is. So when my articulation and verbiage in the OFL streams are a little different than on YouTube. And it's because I feel like I'm speaking to my younger self. And so it's a little different. It's just stuff I wish I knew, right? And I'll articulate it that way. Can you explain the entry process? Entry process. Yeah, this is quite literally, right? You can see it's a support, resistance turn support, and they held it the first time with a pretty good move coming back. I want to see if they hold the tape started to turn, right? More buying started to come in. The selling didn't step off, but buying starting to come in. They swept it and they put in a bunch of sell under and it got offsides immediately. And I'm speculating that that's where it stops. And I hope that's clear. I can elaborate if there are any further questions on that. How did I learn order flow? OFL, literally OFL.
That's how I learned too. There's so much content that that team has
Yeah.
created to make it not necessarily idiot proof. If you put in the time, there's just a lot of good content that's easy to understand the tools. And then it just takes practice of like watching how things fire or how some of these tools work that you suddenly start understanding some of those dynamics in the market a little better.
And I think that so it's a suite of tools. Their main service is the suite of tools. And when you get into order flow, for me, the tools helped me to deconstruct what's happening on the DOM and the footprint, right? So at the time, uh, you see tools print, you know what they mean, but over time you start to tie you when the tools print, you're glancing at your order flow as well, your DOM and your footprint. So over time, you kind of develop the intuition, like when you see stuff happening on order flow, you're like, I think this tool is about to print. I think this indicator is about to print. I think this is about to happen, and it kind of expedites that process for you, right?
Mhm.
You start to get more acquainted with, we know order flow is a bunch of noise. We get acquainted with what tends to happen when things tend to happen a certain way. So yeah, that was a big thing. Did I trade for much longer hours at a period of trading? Oh yeah. When
Mhm.
I first started, I'm at desk at 5:30 Pacific. I want to see pre-market into open. That's why, okay, not advice, but I get to desk anywhere from like 7:30 Pacific to like 8 usually. Late to the markets, and everyone's going to tell you, oh, if you're late to the markets, you don't deserve to trade, so and so. I put in my time. I can look at it now. Obviously, the auto plot tools and the OFLMGI helps me to get situated faster, but I can look at what has happened and start to form a plan very fast, and take it from there and let my eyes calibrate to the current day's order flow for a few minutes, and we're off to the races, right? But it's not that I haven't put in the time. I've put in the time to see pre-market into open, into what tends to happen, into what happens if it opens this way, what happens if it opens here and not here in relation to Globex. I have a Globex volume profile up as well so that I can kind of see. So it's like a TPO. Um, and yeah, in the learning stage, I'm open to close, pre-market to close, right? Um, Now I've really settled into my own process, my own system, and it's what works. Years of refining, and I'm happy where I am. It's really consistent. The money's great, and so for me, I'm like begging myself, like, please don't change anything right now. It's working fine. When the market introduces new environments, you make adjustments and you backtest, you replay mode, whatever it could be, and then after a while you've seen different variations of the same movie, and they'll call intuition. It's pretty much intuition, and you can go from there. But it takes time. It takes the effort. It's not just like you show up to the desk every day and you trade and that's it. It's like any sport, right? There's no team that's going to play 82 games a season and never do a tape session. film room practices, that team's never going to get better. They're never going to win. Things change when you go to film room, right? You practice, you scout the other team, then you can make the adjustments to get better, to win games. But if you're a trader who just trades the market and turns it off and doesn't review, doesn't do this, doesn't do that, doesn't spend time, not going to make it. Promise. What are the main things you're checking or seeing? Just to order, say I'm long, do I see the bid willingly stepping up higher? Or is it that they're just willing to bid a certain price but not to follow through on it, right? Same thing with selling. And if if I see sellers reloading on the tape, do they step it down, right? Things like that. Who's doing what? Who's more aggressive, and what are they getting out of it? Simply that. Um, Anyone who's putting in the effort, are they getting rewarded or not? And there's different ways to see it. It could be candlestick closes if you're a price action trader. It could be an order flow for us, stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's all the questions. I don't know. There's a lot going on, but thank you for coming to my TED Talk. What have you learned to eliminate or ignore that has made you successful? Uh, Everyone's got something different. I know, say Leo, he really loves a reversion trade. I am more of a, if the market's going direction and it's not going the other way. I'm gonna say in a vacuum, it seems really simple because it is that simple. If it's not going the other way, I'm not gonna look to go the other way. Um, I don't need to be the top ticker or bottom ticker. I don't need the best entry. I want it when it works, right? So if I think the market's gonna roll over, I'm not gonna get in so I can get the best entry and sit there for 2 hours until it rolls over. I want to get in when it's going to roll over. Um, so that's kind of like you don't want to be the first to the party because if you're there before the host, you're just gonna sit there. I want to get there when the party starts. I want to be on time, which is not going to be the best price, but it's the one that gives me a clearer point of risk and you're just going with it, right? So for me, I need to see things happen first. Um, I'm not going to try to time the reversal. If I'm going into a reversal trade, the market has already began rolling over and things like that. And price has inched higher or lower and failed to get back to the other direction in some way. So yeah, to put it as simply as I can, it's pretty much that. Just get in line with the market, right? Don't be so zoomed in. Right now we're seeing the market, it's not going down. If you take a look at the day, I mean, auctioned higher, held it higher, bounce here, higher, held it higher. I'm not going to call the market a liar, and neither should you. And on a higher time frame, we had this build higher, right? And they finally built this node. Sorry, crosshairs built this node, and they lost it. So they're going to test lower, but they found themselves tapered again and back into this 3-day overlapping range. And you know, to me, what's commonly going to happen is they're going to test this edge again. And that's just how I view things. It really is that simple. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah, I need to drink some water.
You are talking up a storm today, sir.
Mm.
I don't know. With
We
me,
appreciate the questions, by the way. They do
yeah.
drive good conversation. So
With me, I don't know. There's always someone that's going to have better entries than you, be making more than you, having bigger days. I just try to, in a weird way, like focus on what I'm doing every day to either become a better trader, learn new things, and am I doing like what I ask of myself? I'm trying to, in a weird way, like adjust my mindset really further out of the longer time frame of what I'm trying to do with trading day in and day out. as like an end goal, more so like can I do the right things in this time frame that I'm sitting at my desk trying to make as many points as possible for whatever it is I'm currently trading. Like getting out of the focus on what everyone else is doing, I think was something I've started to evolve a little more in my own trading is focusing on me. What can I do right now to improve my learning, my expertise, my executions, whatever it may be. And kind of ignore all the noise. I think once I got into this weird streaming world, I feel like that just became a random like elephant on my back that I was thinking about and focusing on because there's so many other great traders that do this and do it in front of people that you naturally can compare yourself to others. So I've tried to just focus on me a little more and then learn
Yeah,
from some of them too. I've learned a
yeah,
lot
it's
from
so
watching
hard to
you
do.
trade live.
It sounds so easy when you say it, but yeah, in the
Exactly.
end, it's so hard to do.
It's especially when you have so many trading buddies and people you're talking to day in and day out, and it's like you see the ups, the downs that everyone goes through, and in a weird way, the good days, the volatility, the seeing other people in trades at all different hours of the day because everyone operates differently. It can give you that weird FOMO that I should be trading. I should probably throw something on because hey, X, Y, and Z just did, and he's up 40 points. There's probably an opportunity here. So
Yeah,
it's trying to, like I said, you get out of the mindset of focusing on what others are doing and really just focus on what you should be doing for your end goal with trading.
yeah. It's so hard to for me. It's like I like short sessions because what I have to do is I have to get to desk and beg myself to not turn into a complete idiot for an hour. And if I have to ask myself to do that for two, it's harder. If I have
Oh
to ask
yeah.
myself to do that for four, it's even harder. So, yeah, the game is please try not to turn into an idiot. And if someone's like, just do it for an hour, I'm like, I think I could do that. You know, it's super hard, man.
Milk.
Oh, short life hacks. We're still Daytona. I'm trying to get my money's worth. You got to get your money's worth. The struggle is real, one idiot to another, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
It,
let's be honest. We
it's
all
really
are.
easy to be an idiot in this game.
Yeah, I'm
It's
me
way too easy.
that little Discord Nick is referencing, we interact. We interact very frequently throughout the day, and it's not sunshine and rainbows. The game is hard. We're always sharing like what how we turn into an idiot, you know. Um, it's certainly more of us complaining about how much of an idiot we became than victory laps in there, for sure.
Mhm.
But that's what keeps you pragmatic about the game. I mean, there's going to be other YouTube streams where, you're just going to see winning and this and that, and I'm the best. But you're seeing trading here, like actual executions, risk is being put on, and the streamer is trying to make sense of it, as are you, right? So this is not hindsight stuff, which is what course sellers would have you sit through. Yeah, the market is just, they haven't decided if they're going to give me an extension on this, but we'll see. Maybe if maybe if Nick's power cuts out, it's just gonna rip somewhere.
I mean, there's definitely going to be a move if the power goes out. We will leave this little consolidation of the last hour.
It's like it's not if your power goes out, it's when your power goes out.
Yep. I got the radar and it doesn't look, I mean, it still doesn't look promising.
Yeah, this is gonna be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day overlapping value. Guess we can count this day ish, but yeah, new balance area already. And if they don't break it right here, I'm either going to trail it or I'll probably trail it if they don't get their work done because time is ticking. It will rip soon, just which way, yeah. Yeah, I mean, tape is pretty negative right now, which is I can't tell you if it's good or bad yet because if you give me a negative tape and price can't push, it's a good thing. But if the negative tape is getting rewarded, it's not a good thing. But I mean, we had five on this. We took four along the way, so it's a lot easier for me to hold. Otherwise, I'm flat. Like I can't hold through that. That part of the game is not in my my little skill slider.
XY, good question for you here. What's your easy money trade? That bread and butter one that you always have to take with the specific setup.
Oh man, that's a good question. What is the
I gotta
easy
think.
money trade?
I'm
Off
a
the
fa-
top,
I love a good overnight low, previous day low sweep, and then you see the order flow kind of change and reverse. I guess it's more of a mean reversion trade, but I will fire that one at the hip if I see that flip.
easy money trade. Off the top, I think of not MGI related in terms of like a certain area. Like Leo might say 5 minute OR mid continuation, or Nick might reference the overnight area. For me, it's when the market is doing something everybody hates, which you could say maybe is, it's a good example. This, right? Maybe this right here. And we'll box this for reference. When the market's doing something like this and it finally goes, I'm gonna see, do they actually show some interest, so volume build. And coming back to it, I'm gonna look to get alongside it. It's a simple like consolidation, break retest, but I want to see like when I say frustrates people, it's because it's building so much volume in there. So I like to see where real contention was had, a real fight, we'll call it a knife fight, and who wins. It's that simple. Who wins? When it pops out, there's no guarantee it's not a failed break. But if you see volume building, to me, that's interest, an indication of interest. And when they retest it, I'm gonna look to get alongside it, through order flow means. That's my off the top. That's the one I'm gonna take every time. Yeah, it's a trap, but the bigger the trap, the better it is, right? To me, it's like the market has finally made its choice. It spent so much time with two-way tape, which means both participants are largely in there. And when it goes away from it, it's going to tell me who's the loser. And pretty much the way I articulate all the trades, I'm just looking for a loser. So that's my bread and butter, yeah. Uh, leg to leg VWAP for continuation. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's so many good examples too in the leg to leg. When the price is moving in one direction, let's just say we're going up. And as it pulls back, you're seeing like increased sell delta and stuff. As soon as that gets set off sides, I would add to the positions. So say I'm long already and we get that pullback and you're seeing a lot of selling pour in. As soon as that selling is off sides again, I'm gonna add to that or I'll get in, right? To me, that's Norse, that's actually a really good example. When the market is clearly showing that it's going in a direction and the counterparty steps in heavy and doesn't get rewarded, yeah, that's a great one. What is RTH, regular trading hours? That's the New York session.
We are still just stuck around the week open, man.
I know they, I mean, it's a strong level. There's always something with the weekly open.
I know. It's funny is like I didn't pay as much attention to it until like maybe like 2, 3 months ago. I think Leo mentioned it randomly mattering a little more than I guess I had paid attention to. And
It's a
suddenly,
must have.
I
Gotta
mean, it
have
was
that.
always on my charts, but I guess I never really watched it act as a target for support and resistance, depending on who's in control. And ever since then, now it's like I always have eyes as we drift closer to it on, a
Yeah.
reaction at that spot.
And there is always one, right?
Hmm.
I've never not seen a reaction. Um, Even this 5-day rolling profile, the POC is, I think it's literally,
The week open.
yeah, it's like right under. Yeah. I mean, this is compressed 12 ticks, I think. So, yeah, it's everyone that has access in some way or can make a weekly open study level. Not many things are black and white in this game, but I will say you should definitely put it on your chart. Black and white.
Yeah, it's like in the dead center of value for this week so far too.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Tape is still pretty negative here. I don't know if they'll hold this. We'll see. I'll sit in it.
I feel like you've been in this trade for a very long time.
Yeah, since we started, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
You got a good
yeah,
entry though. Like you really did, where you didn't have to
yeah.
worry about that kind of consolidation and chop right there.
That's literally the reason I can hold this. Otherwise, there's no way. I hate giving back open profits. I mean, it helps that I had 5 on total, so it scales better. But if I had like 2 or 3, I'm flat already for sure. I just don't have it in me. There's a soundbite for it. I don't want to mention it. Monochrome, like reverse Panda Daytona. Yeah, we like dark mode.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm a fan. I guess if you're once you're used to it, I don't think I can go back to lighter colors and things, but I don't know, I guess I once I started using some of the OFL chart books, it just got hard
Hmm.
to go back to red and green candles and other things for volume profile. I just like to keep it simple and it's much softer on my eyes.
Yeah, I I remember maybe a year ago I tried to make like a lighter color background, like it was like a light gray, and I just within 10 minutes I threw it all away. I was like, this is just not gonna work. Yeah, I think the party's over, guys.
Maybe it stopped.
Most likely, most
But dang, we
likely.
open.
We won't get the final eagle
I
unless,
mean, you never know. We'll see what the turn brings us here.
unless, unless they hold it. Do it for America. Yeah, we do have quite a bit of buying that came right above the 480s. I don't like that they are not, or they're offsides now. So this tape still has been heavy the whole time. Turns out there are more sellers than buyers up there. So above 484s would be ideal. This is where a lot of buying is occurring. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll hold that, the LVN. I mean, NQ hasn't really respected LVNs as much as it did in the past with like increased volatility and all. ES has been a lot better with it. I know a lot of people have moved to ES, but not this guy.
I love how Leo did it for like 2 days and then was like,
Dude, Leo for like the past 4 years is always going, oh, maybe I'll put an ES chart. And he'll tease like an ES chart he's working on. And the guy never trades ES until recently. He
he
finally
did.
did it.
He did the one day with me.
Yeah, finally.
I mean, I still go back and forth. It depends on my mood a little bit. I mean, I traded NQ yesterday, tried to trade yesterday. I don't know. It's really a mood thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's times when yes is easy and a lot of fun, and there's other times where I'm like, why am I sitting in this trade for 30 minutes when NQ has easily already moved to where my profit target probably would have been?
Yeah, sometimes you've got a buddy like, yeah, I'm trying to get this 6 point ESTP, and you've collected like 40 points on NQ three
Exactly.
times.
Yesterday, it kind of felt like that with the consolidation on NQ, and ES really wasn't moving at all.
Uh-huh. ES is nice in 25 VIX. Everything's nice in 25 VIX. We had that, what was it, like 40 VIX? 40 plus VIX sometime, maybe a month ago. That was crazy. It was like 2022.
Yeah, I was trading MES because I just wanted no part of the volatility on
Yeah.
NQ.
If you were trading minis at that time,
Oh, it was insane.
yeah.
Like I even threw on like a single to try to build into something, and I was getting stopped out because it was already like 20 points just
Right.
whipping around. So
Right.
I don't know. That was just a
And it's
crazy
like if
week,
you took
man.
profit, if you took any profit at all before 50 points, what are you even doing?
Mm-hmm.
You're actually probably on the wrong side of the market if you felt like you had to take that. Power hour feels like yesterday? Uh, Kinda, yeah. If you look at the range, yeah, it is really similar. I don't know why they're doing this to me. Tomorrow, watch tomorrow's. It's gonna be all like nice and volatile, but yeah, we work with what we get. Um, if it weren't for this long entry, I'm not sure I'd be in anything, honestly. If yeah, there's there's really nothing to be done that gives great edge, right? Yeah, like I said, everything can work. Any trade can work. But if you're looking for edge, apart from getting this sweep entry, I wouldn't have taken anything. I wouldn't have tried to short the pop. I wouldn't have tried to long down here at these prices. Um, yeah, this can't do anything with this really, or I shouldn't if you were me. Excess high. Yeah, there's quite a bit of excess. Um, let's look at the footprint. Yeah, there's quite a bit of excess up there. It's actually pretty good. Oh, that's my doggy. Let me see what he's barking at. Maybe one day you guys will see my little dog.
Yeah, one of mine is lurking in my room somewhere.
Someone just came in with a hat on. He thought I was a stranger.
The amount of times I have two golden retrievers that are from the same litter, and they haven't quite learned that when the baby's asleep, we don't bark at the mailman, we
Oh,
don't bark at the UPS man or the Amazon guy. We just don't.
oh, the Amazon guy always gets it from him for sure. It's like a honestly, he's just like a crappy guard dog. He wants to be a guard dog so bad, but he's not
Mine
that
are
guy.
mine are too good, but then they need to remember they're golden retrievers. And the second someone actually were to come into our home, it's like it's the best day ever, and they're so excited and happy. They'll still growl at everybody that comes to the door.
Yeah,
My
well,
dog has different barks for different delivery people. That's funny.
oh, so you can hear it and be like, oh yeah, that's UPS. Oh, that's Amazon. Oh, that's DoorDash. But yeah, TPO, the excess looks pretty good. And like we just instantly fell back into this node, so higher or lower, coin flip,
Yeah,
honestly. Anyone who tells you they have the answer is lying.
my gut says higher, but
Yeah, I would lean higher just because we're auctioning higher still.
exactly. I was like, sellers,
Simple. That's all I got. That's all I got for you.
yeah,
We certainly haven't been auctioning lower, so well,
51% lower. Yeah, it's basically that.
Ray, yeah. OFL has a lot of deep dive stuff for the tools so that everyone can get like a clear understanding of not only how to apply it, but how they might want to adjust their settings to match your own trading. A link for the learning content. No, it's only in the Discord for subscribers. Dude. I'm sure there's a lot of OFL people in this chat. or people who have just signed up recently. I know in like the sessions that I do, I always notice new names, and some of them I can recognize are coming from this chat. So I'm sure they can chime in and give you guys a few tidbits. Gotta pay to play. Oh yeah. Nick, you've got a request from Jose.
Nick hooked me up with a month of OFL. Sir, if I had the powers to do that, I absolutely would. It's not my purview,
Maybe if
unfortunately.
you
Maybe
guys
we could maybe
maybe
we'll
like 5,000 likes
yeah, maybe
in the next 20 minutes.
if we can get over, I mean, there's 470 people in here. If we can get over 400 likes, I will make an ask for Leo to
I
maybe
think
run
we
a
can convince
contest
him
like
to
we did
do
with
it.
Stowe.
I think we can convince him. Jose, I would, but I spent all my money on watches. If you'd asked me prior, maybe there was a chance. Dream Watch,
I've never been a watch guy.
my Dream Watch, the first one that pops up in my head is the vintage Patek 2499. I would say that is my Dream Watch. I will never attain it because as far as I know, the most recent auction for it went for almost 3 million.
It's about to ask what was the rough MSRP on that thing.
Yeah, so there is zero chance.
How
If
many
you
NQ
guys see
points
me
is
with
that?
it on, it's AI, CGI. So what was I doing before trading? Well, I got into trading, let's see, COVID. So prior to that, I pretty much just had a few businesses. My most successful one was like a lighting company. So pretty much just lighting equipment. And it just kind of blew up. And then from there, eventually I sold it and then just started doing like real estate stuff. And then COVID happened. We're bored. And my friend goes, "Hey, um, what you should do is open up Robinhood
During
and
COVID.
type in SPY." Like, what? Okay. Yeah, buy the put for this strike, whatever it was. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm in. And then we started doing like DGen options stuff until like 2021. I finally opened up a brokerage account for futures. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's that.
I mean,
Um,
I feel like a lot of people were degenning options during COVID. That's how it started for a lot of people that
it's
I
funny
know.
because that's when like all these options flow services started coming out. Like unusual whales wasn't even a thing yet. They came into the space where there were a bunch of others already. They were looking to compete. Um, and then yeah, we were looking at it like this is our edge. When you see, oh, all of a sudden unusual options flow 600K slammed on on a SPY or we'll say Palantir call on whatever strike, like I'm in. Order flow before order flow, huh? So, um, luckily for us, it worked out. I remember Datadog, we went in prior to earnings and it was like a 12x on it after earnings. And we were just in there like, yeah, this was us. We totally knew what we were doing, man. We were following. Yeah, right. Then you learn how to trade futures, and you're just like, what was I doing the whole time?
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Nick? I know you've
Um,
told plenty of people over
I
many
know,
streams, but I'm
I
sure
say most
people in
people
here want
probably
to know.
roughly know my story. I was working in the Mag 7 world for a number of years and basically just doing big tech sales and consulting and business development, writing strategic partnership agreements and a bunch of things like that. And I eventually got laid off right after, I guess, that first cycle in like 2020, early 2023. And it was honestly, I was already trading futures kind of casually going back. I mean, I started trading futures in like 2021, but we've always been like investing and trading since like 2017, realistically. And it just kind of became a way to pass time in between interviews and looking for a new role. And then eventually I got kind of tired of just the way that cycle was going with finding a new role, and eventually trading kind of replaced my 9 to 5 income. So decided to give it a whirl and continue doing it and kind of never look back. And then streaming kind of came into to the fold too. And here I am. But yeah, not the most exciting story, but just it was basically just doing this to stay afloat and pay my bills as my severance was slowly dwindling away. And I was not necessarily finding the best role that I wanted to actually get back into my old world. So here I am.
Yeah, it's always crazy how someone finds their way into the 24-hour casino, huh?
It is.
It's never like just something natural and stuff. It's just for some reason I fell into this thing and then I just never left. Buyers
Yeah.
making a move.
I thought we were gonna pop that once we kind of made that run to week open again. And sellers reoffered.
Same old story, huh?
We just can't leave
We've
this
got the
range.
12:40, yeah. 10 minutes left until the algo thing. And you know what? I'm gonna give them one more shot. If they can get up there, I'm gonna see it. If things don't really pop, then I'm just gonna take this off and collect the last few points. When I see prop trading. Profitable. How long?
I mean, I know when I started trading futures, I was probably not profitable, like really profitable, because it was like passive income here and there, using props here and there. And I mean, I really didn't hit my stride till I would say like end of 2023, and I started trading futures in 2021 before I felt like I knew what I was doing and I was actually consistently making money, not, getting payouts or having one big day and then giving it all back over the next like couple sessions. Like once I got away from that, it did probably take me a good 2, almost 3 years.
Mine, I can walk you through it. I remember this so vividly too. My first deposit, just to test futures, test the platforms, learn how to click the buttons the right way, brackets. I deposited 1,800, and then in a week it became 13,000. And then in 3 days it became zero.
Yep. I think I have stories like that too.
And then I discovered props. All right, I'm covering this in flat. I discovered props, and I think it became 6 months in. I started kind of like being even, and then at some point, maybe it was like month 9, I took my first biggest payout, which was like 11K. Um, so that was my first turn of being profitable, I guess, but I wouldn't say consistent. So
Mhm.
two things. The reason I never bring it up how long it took me is because I think I'm an outlier. Um, it was a much faster progression, but it's because I lucked out and fell into the best exposure, right? So very early in the futures game for me, I would say within the first month or two, I already discovered like Leo and Job and them, the OFL guys. Uh, my first experiences, they were in the picture through other means, like it's in another Discord and they're teaching and stuff like that. So I lucked out and had exposure to the right people that were willing to teach for free.
Mhm.
And so the first time I saw their charts, I didn't know what I was looking at. You guys see what OrderFlow looks like. It's a volume profile. So this is a footprint. I was like, what is this hieroglyphics? Like, what are you even looking at? And they would say all this stuff like IB or profile or volume or this. It's just like jargon, right? TPO. I'm like, what are you even talking about? What are you looking at? What is this? And I saw like a recon tape with a heat map for the first time. I'm like, it looks like I'm flying through space. What is all this stuff? And yeah, over time, I spent a lot of time dissecting it and trying to incorporate it and stuff. So my trajectory extremely expedited. Um, I would say just really lucky, really lucky. It's not like, you know, I don't think I became settled into my process and edge and consistently profitable until, yeah, like maybe 2022, early 2022. Um, and that was my favorite market because as I was settling into it, the market gave us that crazy downside volatility where if you're on the right side, you are making so much money. Um, and a lot of things in this game were a perfect storm for me, from timing to exposure to the right people, uh, the right group. I've been OFL since day one of them opening up, and it expedited a lot of my order flow learning too. So very, very lucky, fortunate. So yeah, my journey is kind of crazy how it happened, but a long-winded way to answer the question. Yes. If you are ever in my OFL sessions, you would find me ranting about something in there. And these are perfect examples.
Market's on a tear here and so heading
I
into
know. I think
MOC.
as soon as I covered, right? That was the
Yeah.
one.
Like we
Yeah.
said, 51% lean to the upside. Just like we drew it up.
Yeah, the perfect example of why I say too, I am the worst at holding positions. Of all the people you will see on NinjaTrader Live, I would bet every dollar I am the absolute worst at holding, and that's why I'm a scalper. It's just, man,
I mean,
they
in your
waited. Yeah,
defense,
they
you were in that
literally
trade for a
waited.
long time.
Holding is not my strength, and I accepted long ago it will never be. So when you see me trade and do the things I do, it's because doing the other things is way too hard for me. Yeah, and it's like 3 minutes until the algo, so they're gonna rip it to new highs, and I covered long ago, just like the last stream I had with Nick when I covered, or I think they trailed out my stop and ran another like 150 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reality, guys, right?
In one of those
Everyone,
weeks.
you can have a plan, but executing it is totally different, and we won't be the ones to lie to you about how hard that is for sure. Planning and calling a market is like 20% of the trade. Went long for a scalp after it broke. Yeah, and no, you're certainly getting paid. You're
Yeah,
certainly
that was a
getting
nice
paid.
little breakout. Once we finally got moving over the week open again. Let's see if I can run this back up towards the 80s maybe on ES, 620s, NQ.
Oh, ES and NQ are pretty in line for that break for a new high day, huh?
Mm-hmm. See if the algos will do it.
No justice for XYZ.
Yes, Meta and Microsoft are after the bell. I think Microsoft is a few minutes, and then Meta's maybe 30 minutes later.
Yeah, white sand, that's the thing for me. I hate round tripping and I hate sitting through the pullback. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll scale out and then I'll look to add on a pullback. And if they run without me, it is what it is. I won't feel bad about it because I know that that's just what I'm better at. And yeah, you guys will see over time how bad my holds are compared to like you see like Stowe and Leo. They're doing the casual 100 some point this or that. Could have been me, but look what I did. when it finally was gonna break after, like in hindsight now, you can see like they swept this, they found the bid, they held it higher, and then they inched it, they held it again, and then this is when I peel off. That's actually, it doesn't make any sense in hindsight now. I mean, I was paying attention to the chat. I wasn't really looking at this, but in hindsight, yeah, this makes no sense to peel it off now of all times. This is what you'd want to see for it to finally break. It is what it is. I think we made decent money.
Eh,
Educational material. Oh, there is so much
Oh yeah.
educational material in there. It's not even funny. And it's not like educational material like they recorded it and then it's there. No, every week is new stuff. Live streams,
Mm-hmm.
um, all this stuff. Yeah. A lot of stuff. Oh, okay.
My goodness.
Okay.
So there's the 620s and up towards the 80s on ES.
So we got the
Why did you
double
flatten?
break. I flattened, I'm gonna guess like before 520 for sure. So maybe in the teens,
Oof.
514, 515. Um, so a casual 100 points ago. Well done.
And this is why I wanted to get out of that swing short XY. Just should have covered. I mean, if I wasn't at the doctor's, I'd probably peel some off, but it ran back towards break even and I got out for green and it's thank God, man.
Yeah, that got real dicey. I mean, it would have worked if like,
It did. I
yeah, like if
expected
it
a
would have
more
really
continuation.
died if they can just continue building lower because they would have left so much behind with a trap up here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's ideally what you want. I mean, I take this setup all day on an intraday basis.
Yep.
You build a node, you lose it back into majority, and then you're just sliding down. Dude, you're gonna pay the price, usually, just not today.
Yeah. Just got whatever the positive PCE and we just were off to the races.
Yeah, that's a
Or not positive, the what was it? Basically like 0% or zero. What was the number? Now it's gonna bug me. I need to look.
I never know.
It was like in line, like exactly in line or something. I
Mm,
don't know. Jim had said it earlier. No, I can't remember.
is there news? No,
No,
just the market
end of
closing.
month, algo.
Just these guys dying, really.
Yep. And every short just getting obliterated.
Everyone that was ruining me, ruining my trade. This is justice without me. We could have got like, yeah, we could have got the quadruple eagle on this one for sure, but maybe next time. There's
I
always
feel
next.
like, like I don't trade. I historically I've never really traded power hour, but how many times have we sat here on stream and had just a wild upside move into the close, and a lot of us, except for apparently Stowe, sitting and watching.
Yeah.
He's the one
Watching
that
like
always seems to be positioned for it and like lets it ride and let
in
it
an alternate
continue.
universe, we're in this. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or
I'm
we
not
talk
really.
about the setup and then it happens, and it's like Stowe's the only one actually in the position.
Yeah. I mean, I think it also is because we're not really naturally power hour traders. We're pretty much
Yeah, it's like we said.
early, fast, and done with the day. But for the show, we are now power hour traders.
Yeah, I did not see a V coming today, especially off the open and seeing just some velocity in that early selling off the bell. Would not, if you would have told me we would have closed above yesterday's high, I would have thought you were on some good stuff.
Yeah, I remember
Cool. It sounds
I-
like we're gonna stay on a few minutes
for earnings.
to watch the reaction to Microsoft and Meta.
The black van outside Nick's house just informed us of a bit of a change. But yeah, as soon as I got to desk, we were right here, already bumping against VWAP, and I was just like, okay, well, I don't want to short this move, but I can't long it on the first test of VWAP. So eventually they were holding, so I started getting the longs, and then I wanted that extension. I only got some off, came back, and then I added again. Dicey ad, by the way. Um, and then they finally came up, and then I just was like, I don't think this is gonna happen. So I peeled everything off except one, held it. It almost got me out, and then it finally went. And you see this yellow line is the pivot. This is a OFL tool thing. There's a stat where the pivot is tapped like 90% in a session, and it hasn't touched yet. So in my mind, it's like if we're gonna break VWAP, what's stopping us from tapping pivot? And so, uh, as I describe it, it sounds like an easy trade. Man, I know I was sweating it, but it finally worked, and then we tagged the pivot. Yeah. So that's a little extra edge you guys can get with the tools. The pivot has a stat where 90% of the time it will tag it on an intraday basis. And that was that. This could have been me.
This definitely could have been, should have been.
This should have been me.
What a move.
I know. Jeez.
End of month, man.
How long? When did we start doing these? Was it March? NT Live?
Yeah, it was middle of March.
March. Just buy him. There's no way.
I need a stat on how many times on the last day of the month we have
They just do this?
they do this, because it seems like it's 7 out of 10 times.
How could they? We're looking at 700s.
Like wild.
Who's got that on
That's
the
just
bingo
ripped
card?
60 points in 10 minutes.
We're actually approaching 800s would be that last big range we had before the market died. Right?
Femi in the chat says it's happened 9 out of the last 12 times and keeps the stats. If there actually is a true like stat of what that, like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, that M period range to the upside is in ES or NQ on the last day of the month, I'd be curious to know.
3 bar reversal pivot at no, it's 390 today. 390, I think. 89.75, something like that. 390. We'll call it 390.
Okay, so it is M period of end of month. So I guess Crudele has a stat about it. So we'll have to talk to him.
Last 30 minutes of end of month. Previous day high. So earlier the question was, can we sustain in prior day's range? And then they certainly did. And now it leads to the other side of prior day range, which I guess in hindsight makes total sense.
But
In
it's like
hindsight.
here we are again, just teetering at the highs of trying to break out, or I guess the lows of that old balance range.
Right. This would be breaking out. So opening up well below prior day range, getting into it, holding into it, and breaking prior day range upside is what we're looking at here in context, which is, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I mean, the monthly
What a
candle,
runner.
like a doji.
What a runner it would have been.
Hey guys,
Coulda.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, what's up, Jim?
you think maybe like Bill Gates leaked the earnings report?
I guess we'll find out in a few minutes.
We will. We have Meta, Microsoft, Hood, QCOM, Coke, eBay. Man, there's a lot of stuff coming out this afternoon. Aflac.
Who leaked earnings? I
And
wish
it
they would
doesn't
have
end.
leaked it
We
to
kick
me.
off tomorrow, or we end tomorrow with Amazon and Apple.
Me and Shy are on the same wavelength right now. She just said, I was going to say who leaked the earnings.
Wish they would have told me.
Yeah, but you threw a monkey wrench in my thought process when you reminded me it was the end of the month.
Yeah, that's one of the. I mean, I usually I stay away from power hour as is, but end of month, it just gets a little weird sometimes. It sounds like people in the chat had some stats, or there is something to that specifically. I'd be very curious to understand that M period range a little bit about how much we actually can traverse in that last 30 minutes.
You got the 401ks pumping in their contribution for their paycheck today. Is that it? Maybe this is a
I'm sure that's a part of
femme non fatale.
the logic there.
That stuff is all way too big brain for me. I just need the chart to tell me where we're going.
It doesn't always feel good though when you do know your 401k is like buying the all-time high and you get that kind of move.
All right, the bell rang.
Look at that absorption at previous day high.
I know.
500 positive delta. That's after unwinding it too.
The MOC imbalance on S&P was 2,788 million. That's pretty big.
So we got Microsoft in 5 minutes. Looks like.
Yeah, I mean, their call's not scheduled to 5:30, but they should announce stuff before that.
Oh. Look at this.
He wants to go, man. You could tell.
XY ever thrown on a micro during earnings season just to feel something after the bell?
No, actually, no.
Neither have I.
I look
Never
at
been.
this and it's just too crazy.
I'm not a great high volatility trader, like event driven trader.
No, I never news. I only need to know one thing is when, so I can make sure I am off the book.
Exactly.
That's all I do with news. I'm so bad about it. I never know what the news is. I don't know what the data prints are, CPI or FOMC interest this. I never know. It just is what it is. Just get me off the book.
That might be a good thing though.
Yeah, I've never. News is news to me. It's like the chart will tell me what I got to do.
Yeah, you have no cognitive bias. You're like,
hmm
I don't know what it means. Look at the candle though. I'll tell you what that means.
Nick, it
Yeah,
seems like a
tomorrow.
lot of people miss you.
I mean, I'm sure, but this is where you can find me for the time being. You can tune in on Sunday nights, get prepped for the week. Had a good first showing last Sunday.
Yeah, you did.
And it's been a
Tomorrow
lot
is
of fun.
jobless claims though. Jobless claims tomorrow. PMI, manufacturing, ISM, manufacturing, construction spending, and EIA, nat gas. So the fun will continue tomorrow.
Okay, Microsoft's earnings are out.
Up 21.
Beat on top and bottom, EPS and revenue. 346 EPS against a 321 estimate.
So how long does it take for the forward guidance stuff to bake in?
It seems like a lot of, at least so far this week, people have been a little gun shy about releasing it.
Hmm.
So I'm curious to hear from the big boys how they feel about talking about it with everything going on.
Mhm.
Some companies are releasing like 2 scenarios.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's just like a
Tariff
lot of
scenario
more
1.
uncertainty.
Yeah.
I know. As if forward guidance wasn't speculation already. Now there are two layers to it.
I'd be curious to hear how Jassy talks about it tomorrow for Amazon's earnings, especially with the whole pulling the allegedly going to put the cost of the tariffs into checking out on Amazon. I'm curious to hear how they
Oh,
talk
that's
about
right.
how they're navigating it for at least the .com side of the business, not the AWS side.
I thought they chickened out of that.
They did, but I'm sure he's gonna address. I would imagine he addresses it in some form.
Yeah.
No
So
guidance. Wow.
today's range in the Nasdaq was 630. We'll round it up, 640 points, low to high.
Yeah, Tracy just said a lot of companies are not even giving guidance, which is more concerning. Yep.
Susie, yeah, I like what you did. Yeah, it's all about the emotional response for sure.
Yeah, nothing makes me more angry than hearing stop filled.
And it says it all sad. It's like stop filled.
Did you guys talk? Speaking of that, did you guys talk about what music you play in the background when you're trading, when you're not streaming?
I'm pretty much silence with the occasion. It depends if I'm watching this show or whatever as I'm hanging out and doing things. But when I'm like actively in a trade or trying to find a trade, it's usually like AirPods in with just the noise canceling on, no sound.
Mm.
Whoa. Yeah,
Whoa.
me always music. It could be a lot of times it's like jazz. It could be piano jazz. It could be house music. It could be some lo-fi. A little burnt out on the lo-fi. But yeah, it's like a weird extreme. On one end, you've got like house music, and then you've got some jazz, whether it's like classical jazz, some soul jazz. Yeah.
At the risk of dating myself, what's lo-fi?
Lo-fi, it's hard to describe. It's like study music. It's the best way I can put it. It's very mellow. The percussions are
Mm.
very soft. Um, Melody is like super soft too. It's just,
See,
yeah.
I envision you playing like a Turisto kind of, you know, techno
Yeah, that's
dance music.
mm, no, that's too much. It's too much, like it's too stimulating, I think. I need to just like mellow out. I gotta be super mellow. Nothing too aggro, nothing too aggressive, nothing too this or that. Just I want to be in that mellow state where I can just sit there, I'm chilling. The market's gonna give me something it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah, I gotta stay in that kind of mentality.
Wow, we're driving up. This is now we got to grind up, man. We're already at Jack's 2 level. 19,800 is a big deal for today. Fat fish likes the theme from Gilligan's Island.
Is meta out yet?
No, just
No, I'm
waiting on
not seeing
that.
it.
So I wonder, it might not be till 5:30. Hang on, let me double check here.
Did we tap 18 or did we tap 800s? Oh,
We
close.
almost did.
Someone
Yeah,
is absorbing up there. What do we have? 100 delta.
that's the second highest gamma exposure level at 800.
They're certainly lifting all that offer on the way.
Yeah, I'm getting that the call isn't until 5:30. I don't know if they're going to release numbers or not before that. Let's give it a few more minutes, guys, just to see, just in case. If you could stick around for a few more minutes.
Yeah. Hey, I just realized Nick did not cut out.
I made it.
That's
Not
why the
right on.
market waited until the very last second to do something.
It's because Leo came and chased all the storms away. The storm chaser vehicle.
Leo said he was going through the same thing, right? He said
Yeah,
it in our
he
chat.
said he was having. I mean, the same storm. He was just getting a different part of it, just a little north of me.
I guess NVIDIA is liking the news. We have eBay out. Adjusted EPS 1.38 versus 1.34. Net revenue up a tad. Up a tad. 50 billion. That's more than a tad for me, but no, I'm sorry, 50 million.
That's why I get ready for the "we're so back" tweets tonight.
The doom tweets are over, huh?
I think the doom tweets will be over at
It's
least
over.
until the next random Trump tweet. I mean, I guess it depends. Like, I still haven't seen guidance from Microsoft, or we haven't seen Meta yet, but
Yeah, no guidance yet. Who's on today? Microsoft
and Meta would be the biggest ones.
Y-
and Meta.
Yeah, we're waiting for Meta, but I don't see it coming. So we'll give it till we'll give it one more minute. We'll call it.
Maybe a casual 20K print. What's another 200 points?
I mean, we were talking about it on Sunday. That reoffer could come, like if there is a reoffer in that old balance range,
Yeah,
really come in a pretty wide spot. So
we
it is
were
just
in
like
that balance
head on a
forever.
swivel
Oh
up
my
here.
God. That was
I don't know. I'm still in the camp that like until we get a good volume build above like 56, like basically where this buying stopped so far. It was like at 56.16. So if we can get above like 56.25s with some decent volume, I'm looking for longs. I'm looking for dips to buy it intraday. Not really looking to short it anymore.
right.
But I don't know. We'll see.
I mean,
Yeah, that's a really nice point level you got there, Nick. That's right by the anchored VWAP from February 19th.
Which started the whole downtrend.
Started the whole disaster.
Yeah, wouldn't be the worst spot, I guess, for a
Yeah.
big player on a longer time frame to potentially come back in. I don't know.
Yeah. In any event, guys, yeah, this might not happen. Wait. Something's coming in now.
Oh, Meta's in.
I'm
Meta's
saying Meta
in.
was a beat.
Meta
Like
beat top and bottom.
Meta chart
Yeah,
has
baby.
exploded. Oh,
And a casual $3 billion guide range. Interesting.
okay.
We're gonna hit the 800s again. Come on, we could do it.
Minimum gotta hit the 800s, right?
The, mi- the minimum.
Minimum.
They owe us at least that. They owe us that for sticking
Minimum.
around after hours here.
We want 20K, and we want it today.
That's right.
But,
We're not leaving until we get it.
oh, Tracy's got the deets, of course.
Yeah.
42 to 45.
Wow, look at that operating income. That's a biggie.
Right.
17.56 billion estimate was only 15.52 billion. I wonder what they're doing with that extra 0.04 billion.
Is like 95% of it still from just ad revenue? Would love to understand. I would love to see those again in the deeper breakdown.
I do not know. In any event, all right. Well, equity markets liked it. So earnings are out. There'll be some more earnings coming in, folks. I want to remind everybody that we have some numbers like jobless claims and PMI coming out tomorrow. So appreciate you guys not only today, but also sticking around extra with us at NinjaTrader Live, man. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Catch you guys next week.
All right. Well, let's just go out together in a blaze of glory. Yeah, we're gonna be strong tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. NinjaTrader Live. Hope to see you there. We have another great lineup with a very special guest. Also, check out our tweets. You'll realize who that is. And I do want to remind everybody. In the meantime, please be safe out there. Be good to each other. Thanks for coming.